Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. Last week, if you were watching, you know I talked to you about my love of gardening, and it's kind of trickled over into this week's project. We are going to be creating this adorable wheelbarrow flower card. It uses watercolor paper and it'll teach you how to aqua paint the easy way. I've got some cute little bling and accessories on here and I can't wait to share with you how easy it is to make. The products are available in my online store, and if you didn't know it, I offer great exclusive Creative Creases cards for your online orders. There are pictures as well as details over on my blog, so head over and check it out. Come on over to the stamp table and let's get started.
I want to give you the cutting dimensions, and keep in mind that these are also going to be on my blog as well as still pictures, so if you don't catch them in the video, head over there. This is a piece of Curcio coral cardstock, and this is cut 5.5 by 8.5. Then I have a piece of watercolor paper. Love this stuff. 2.5 by 3 inches. And then Tip Top Taupe, which is one of the new in colors this year, and it measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I've cut myself 11 inches of the silver baker's twine. We're going to be using the stamp set called Your Sublime. Some serious cuteness going on here, but I am using the wheelbarrow with the flowers today to make a thank you card. I'm going to start by folding my Curcio coral cardstock in half, and you know I love to use my bone folder. Nice crisp creases. Then I'm going to use the lovely lace embossing folder to emboss the top half of this card. So I'm going to slip it on like it's a slip cover almost. And I'm going to fold the excess to the back. Here I've got my big shot, and I've got myself on tab 1 and my 2 clear mats. One on the bottom and one on the top, just to protect your project and your folder. And then I'm going to line this up, and I'm just going to crank this through. And when it comes out, it's going to be beautiful and textured. We're going to do our stamping next, and whenever I use an aqua painter or a blender pen, I always like to use StazOn ink because it's going to keep it from bleeding. So I'm using the jet black StazOn, and I'm using the wheelbarrow image, again from the Your Sublime stamp set. I'm just going to check to make sure I got the whole thing covered, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this right in the middle of my watercolor paper. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to get to do some coloring. I'm going to start with the Curcio coral ink, and I'm going to flip this upside down and I'm going to squeeze it. The lids are flexible so that we can put ink in the well of the ink pad, which allows us to watercolor. You're never going to want to dip in the pad itself. So I'm going to use my blender pen. It's always a good habit to make sure that it's clean before you get started. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of color here, watering it down just a little bit because I don't want it too strong. And I'm going to start by coloring these flowers in. Now, the one thing about watercoloring that most people don't realize is that you should really get rid of all the color on either your aqua painter or your blender pen before you add more. So I'm going to make the center of this a little bit darker. Oops. So I'm going to add a little bit more color here. The reason this is so easy to do is because it's watercolor paper, so it's very resistant to moisture, and it will not bow and it will not pile. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat that with the rest of these flowers that are here. To clean your blender pen, you're going to hold it horizontally on your grid paper, and you're going to turn it and rotate it. By turning it, you're making sure that you're getting color on all the sides, and it will tend to bleed down, so you want to make sure that you get it clean before you go into another color. Now when the blender pen runs clear, like it is here, you know you're good to go. Next is crushed curry. I'm going to squeeze it again. Going to pick up some color, and this time I'm going to color in the petals of what I'm going to call these sunflowers. And this time I'm going to the Tip Top Taupe. So I'm going to pick up some color here, and this time I'm going to put it inside the center of my flowers. I want that a little bit darker, so I'm going to add a little bit more, and the inside of this one here. And I'm also going to add this to the wheelbarrow. I want you to see what I'm doing. I'm adding the darkest to the outside, and then I'm blending in. I think the biggest mistake people do when they watercolor is they want the whole thing to be one shade, and that's just not necessary. That's the whole point of watercoloring. And again, because of the strength of this paper, you can go back and make it a little bit darker if you like. Now I'm also going to add a little bit over here at the handle, and I'm going to take a little bit more and I'm going to water it down, and I'm going to put some little lines over here because I want it to look like it's been through the dirt. I'm going to clean my blender pen one more time, and it's running clear. And this time I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz, and this is going to be for the leaves. So picking up a little bit of color, and I'm going to come inside of here. And cleaning the blender pen one more time, and then always make sure that it's capped tightly. Both tips are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which one you use, but make sure that you store them flat because the chemical that's inside the barrel that moistens the tip moistens both ends, so you wouldn't want to drain it standing it up. Lastly, I got some Pool Party here, and this is the color that I chose to put on my wheelbarrow. So I'm going to pick up some color, and I'm going to start over here on this side because remember, it's going to be the strongest when I first put it down, and I'm going to stretch my color out. You're going to notice how I am not re-inking this to add more color in. You see this cute little spot right here in this wheelbarrow? It screamed a mini Brad, so that's exactly what I'm going to use. I'm going to take my paper piercing tool and I'm going to poke a hole right inside of there. Take one of the mini Brads. I'm going to place that down inside, and I'll just open up the prongs to the back side of my card. Now I'm going to assemble these. Now I've used lots of things to mount these together, and you of course can use adhesive, but I really liked dimensionals. So I'm going to stick some dimensionals in my corners. Okay, we take the paper off the backing of these. And then I'm going to place this here. I'm leaving a little bit of room at the bottom for the accessories I'm going to add. So remember that 11 inches of silver baker's twine. We're going to take 2 more dimensionals. And I'm going to put them here and here. Taking off the paper backing. And I'm starting on the back. Now this is going to stick very well. And I'm going to go around. And then I'm going to leave a little space. And I'm going to go around again. So you can see the back doesn't look really pretty, but boy does the front look great. So with my paper snips, I'm going to give this just a little haircut, nice and close. I'm going to give these a little push to make sure that they're down. I'm going to add several more dimensionals because that's used up most of my space. Take the paper off of these, and now this will go in the center of the front of my card. Now I looked at it and I was like, I like it, but it needs more. So that's when I brought in my Petite Petals punch. And I brought out a scrap of the same Calypso Coral cardstock. And this one is crushed curry. And I am literally going to scrunch these. I mean, I'm going to crumble them up. I know you're probably thinking, oh, no, no. Hey, this is a great stress reliever, not just coloring and making cards, but you can crumble up your stuff and make it look better. What I want to do is I want to break down the fibers in that paper just a little bit so that they look a little bit more realistic and not so stiff. And because the card is primarily in the coral color, I'm going to put the curry flower on top. Now I used a glue dot for this. So on the back, I'm going to press a glue dot onto here. And you can offset them a little bit if you'd like, or put them dead on, doesn't matter. I'm using another glue dot on the back of my flowers to mount this down here just to give it some interest. I'm going to kind of fluff those up a little bit. Now for the center, I wanted to keep with my color concept. I took out a piece of top taupe scrap cardstock, and this is the 1/4 inch circle punch. Of course, now it comes handheld. Mine's the older version, same punch. Little glue dot. Going to peel that off, and that's going to go right here in the center of my flower. And just to bring in a little bit of that metallic finish, I decided it needed a little bit of bling. So I'm going to choose a rhinestone here. Love that they have the glue dots already on the back, and I'm going to press that right there. So look at that. Our card is all finished. Here's the one we made today and the one I made previously. Remember, all these products are available in my online store, and I offer great rewards for your online purchases. You can see pictures and details on my blog, so head over there, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day, everyone.